All right, we're going to get started. I want to thank everybody for not only coming to Mankato to the Port Congress, but also coming to this seminar. I have the distinct honor of introducing Hunter Pinckey. Hunter grew up in North Dakota and spent his childhood summers working at his family's lumber yard and at his grandparents' grain farm. After graduating high school from his class of 18 students, he ventured to the University of North Dakota. Please don't hold that against him.
Easy now, Jay.
Where he played as a tight end in 34 football games. Following his junior season, he suffered a spinal cord injury in a downhill skiing accident, leaving him a chest-down paraplegic. Hunter finished his college football career as the team captain on the sidelines in his wheelchair and earned a bachelor's degree in mechanical engineering. He went on to play 3 seasons of collegiate wheelchair basketball at the University of Arizona, where the Wildcats were national runner-up 2 consecutive seasons with Hunter as the team captain. Hunter earned his second team academic All-American honors and got his graduate degree in real estate development. Today, Hunter resides in rural North Dakota, working in his passions of residential construction, family farming, and is a keynote speaker across North America, delivering messages of finding the joy in every day and living a life with no bad days. Please help me welcome Hunter Pinckey.
Good stuff. Thanks, Jay. Appreciate it, man. Yeah, thank you. Golly, Jay, you just had to throw something in about the bison, huh? Bison, gophers, man, whoever it is. I always get the UND flag at the agricultural meetings, but I can take it. That's all right. I can take it. Well, it's good to be here in Mankato and get to share with you guys here today. I'm excited. You know, I never really know how I'm going to open up a session. Usually in the first hour beforehand, it kind of comes, and I spilled gas on my jeans as I was filling up gas at the Circle K just down the road, and so I was changing jeans just beforehand. And I was in the bathroom changing, and 2 guys came up to the urinals and were chatting while they were peeing. And the guy goes, "Yeah, this is the first time I've been back in a couple of years." And the guy, "Oh, yeah, well, we come every year. It's just good to see everybody." And the other guy goes, "Man, it sure is. That's what makes this thing special. It's the people that you get to do it with." And I got, man, they already stole my speech. So it was kind of interesting. Sitting in the bathroom listening to 2 guys at the urinals talk shop. And I was like, man, I wish everyone could just listen to that conversation, then I wouldn't have to do anything up today. But man, here's the plan for today. I'm going to get to share a little bit of my story with you today. And hopefully people in this room can take something from my story, you can apply it to yours, and it can hopefully change your life. Hopefully it can leave you a different person than when you walked through the doors. That's how change happens. That's how people grow. And so that's my goal for today. I'm definitely not here to motivate you. I think I get the tab or the name motivational speaker. I am not here to motivate you. There's a lot of motivated people on January 1st, right? We'll see what happens on October 1st, if they're still as motivated as they were. I think motivation comes and goes. My goal is to hopefully inspire one of you, right? Inspire you and have you leave a different person than when you walked in. But my story, it probably is very similar to many of you guys. I grew up in Wishick, North Dakota. Wishick's a town of 850 people in south central North Dakota. We grew up, I like to say that I grew up in the middle of nowhere, then I drove through Wyoming. And I realized that I didn't grow up in the middle of nowhere. But I grew up 80 miles from a McDonald's, 90 from a Starbucks, 80 miles from Jamestown, 90 miles from Bismarck, and 100 from Aberdeen. So right in the middle of that area. Wishick has 850 people. That's our main street right there. Probably looks like a lot of your main streets that many of you grew up in. I loved growing up in Wishick. It was awesome. I got to do everything that a young kid from rural America dreams of doing. Got to play basketball in the wintertime, football in the fall, ran track in the spring, played baseball in the summertime. On top of that, proud member of the FFA, FBLA, Science Fair, Science Olympiad, band, choir, speech, drama. I tried to do everything that I possibly could. Only thing that I did not do that Wishick High School offered was FCCLA. Just could not swing it with the FFA schedule. But I literally did everything that I could growing up in Wishick. My favorite thing to do, though, was to play basketball. And standing up, I'm 6'6". Going to have to trust me on that one. Not going to do that for you today. That's a wheelchair joke. You guys loosen up a little bit. It's all right. We're okay with wheelchair jokes. It's all right. And so I love to play basketball as a big kid growing up. And everybody is from a young age, go rebound, go play in the post. But for me, it wasn't I have to play this game. It was a love for the game. I get to play this game. And really, it stemmed from who I was looking up to. And, man, the guy that I looked up to, this is where I got to know him. And, growing up in rural North Dakota, southern Minnesota, it's not real different. I mean, this is where I grew to love my Grandpa Fred. That tractor right there, sitting in the combine, that dam right there, that little piece of water. I remember walking with him out on the dock and throwing out lines. I mean, that's where I learned to love my Grandpa Fred. And from a young age, I remember looking at my grandpa and thinking, I want to be just like my grandpa. And maybe you have that person in your life too, grandpa, grandma. Maybe it's your parent, somebody, a teacher growing up. But I remember having dreams as a young kid and thinking to myself, like, someday I want to be just like that person. And from a young age 10, I remember asking my grandpa, what do I got to do to be like you? Because I remember walking into the Betty Engelstead Sioux Center in Grand Forks, North Dakota, and looking up at that mural in the picture in the background there, looking up at that mural and seeing UND men's basketball and my grandpa up there 3 times. And looking at that mural and thinking to myself, like, man, someday I want to be on that mural. I want to be next to my grandpa. And I made a goal that I was going to play college basketball. I was going to play it at UND so that I could be just like my grandpa. And I chased it. I remember that 5th grade year, I made 1,000 baskets, kept tracking my notebook. And then the next year, 6th grade, I said, all right, how many do I got to make? He said, well, you made 1,000, now make 10,000. It's 100 a day, every day of the summer. Keep tracking your notebook. I had a lot of those summers. Time I'm going into my senior year of high school, top-rated player in the state, getting recruited to play at all the schools that many of you cheer for. UND, NDSU, USD, SDSU. I was going to play college basketball, but I was going to do it with my best friend. And his name was Zach Kavalvog. He went to school in Moorhead, Minnesota. He was my best friend. When I moved to Wishick in 4th grade, when my parents got married, he wrote me a letter. I'm glad that I'm actually old enough where people still wrote letters to each other. He wrote me a letter and said, I want to be friends with you. I want to continue to be friends. Do you want to play on the same traveling basketball team? And so that picture on the left, that was our first tournament together. The Fargo Lightning were created. We were fired up about 3rd place. Not really about 3rd place, but more that we got to see each other that weekend. That picture on the right is down at the Pentagon in Sioux Falls. That was our last tournament together. Going into our senior year of high school, we never left each other. Built on loyalty, no doubt about it. Me and Zach, we were the best of friends. And I like to think we were like a Stockton and Malone, right? I talk to kids these days, and I say Stockton Malone, I get this. Yeah, embarrassing, isn't it? It's embarrassing. I'm in a group where I think hopefully I can say that. But point guard, big man, we were a combo. I'll never forget June 23rd, 2015. It was a beautiful day. Sunny, 75 degrees. I was on a delivery out by the Missouri River. I was working for my family's lumberyard that summer. I delivered a load of sheetrock out to a house. I came back. I had lunch at the local McTwist. It was our burger joint in town. I had a chicken sandwich with fries and a strawberry shake. I can still see it right now. I sat down to eat with my parents at the dinner table. I had a quick dinner, and then I went down to take a quick nap before heading back to work in the afternoon. And I was doing probably what a lot of kids do, and maybe you do too, scrolling my phone before going to bed. And I see on Twitter this tweet. It says, "R.I.P. Zach, you'll be missed." And most of the time, you got go into a young person's head. Most of the time, you see R.I.P. It's usually paired with, an emoji, a picture, a video, some sort of TikTok. No picture, no emoji, just R.I.P. And so I messaged that guy that had sent that tweet out. His name was Aiden. I said, "Aiden, what happened to Zach?" LOL. Because I thought it was a joke, right? And he responded right away, "Call me." So I give him a call. "Aiden, you there?" And there was silence on the other end of the phone. And after a few seconds, I remember saying it again. I said, Aiden, you there? And he said, Hunter, he's gone. And that day, my best friend died. I-94, stretch of road that I'm guessing all of us have driven many, many times. Semi ran him right off the road. Him and his brother killed on sight. Maybe some of you guys remember that, seeing that in the newspaper 10 years ago. Happened right outside of Fergus Falls. Top-rated player in the state, a week away from my official visit to the University of South Dakota, chasing a dream that I've been chasing for 8 years. I didn't touch a basketball for the next 3 months and 12 days. My mom kept track. Every time I'd even look at a basketball, pain came right back with it. Maybe it's not a basketball for you. Maybe it's a picture, blanket. It's a smell, something you hear. The pain comes right back. I think my dream probably died with Zach Kavalvag that day. A week after Zach passed away, I get a call from the dream school. School that my grandpa played at, school that my mom played at, really what I grew up as our family school. Get a call from University of North Dakota. And I remember them saying, hey, Hunter, we got a spot for you. Don't know if you want to play basketball. Don't know if you want to play football, what sport you want to do, but we got a spot for you. And I had this dream. I was gonna be just like my grandpa. I'm going to be up on that mural. And life changes. It wasn't their basketball team calling. It was their football team. It was Coach Schwager. And he said, Hunter, if you want to come play tight end, we got a spot for you. And that was my escape. That was my escape from the pain that basketball had now brought me. And this is a new start, a new beginning. So I went and I took it. I went to the University of North Dakota. I played 4 years of football. Awesome time. Most of the stories I got at UND, I'm not going to share here today. You guys got those too. But man, it was awesome. I did a lot of this. I show this picture on purpose. I did a lot of this. If you couldn't tell, I'm the one on the left. I would never hold the ball like that. Terrible ball security. But I did a lot of blocking. A lot of special teams, a lot of put my hand in the dirt and try and move people. I was 6'6", 265, played tight end. I caught 1 touchdown my entire career. But I'm just getting better and better as I get older. I know how you guys roll now, right? Older you get, the better you get. Right now, I was a pretty good college football player. 10 years from now, I'm going to be a dang good college football player, though. And I see myself just getting better and better as time goes on. The experiences that I had at the University of North Dakota were awesome. I got to play in front of 75,000 at the University of Washington. That's unbelievable, being from a town of 850. Got to play in the Fargo Dome multiple times. The things that got yelled at me in the Fargo Dome, awesome. I mean, just awesome. Again, not going to repeat those here today, but just great experiences. But the best part about playing college football, really going to any type of institution, what you get to do, really, really important. Who you get to do it with, that's what makes it special. It's the same thing that they were talking about in the bathroom earlier. Man, what you do is what brought you here. Who you do it with, the people that are sitting around your table right now, that's what makes it special. I was just talking with Jill before we hopped up here, and she said, well, the people in the state are what keep me around. And that's true in Minnesota, that's true in Grand Forks, that's true in Wishick, it's true in your hometown too. Man, the who in life will always be more important than the what. And part of the who in my life at the University of North Dakota were my guys. And built-in best friends. I just saw them this past weekend. We were at a wedding. They're now starting to get married. And we lived at the meat shed. That was our house's name. Not going to tell any meat shed stories. But man, one of the guys, his name was Noah Wanzik. And Noah and I were best of friends. He's going to be in my wedding in August. We lifted together, we lived together, we played football together, we went to class together, we did everything together. And I'll never forget, we were down in Louisiana. We got anybody from the state of Louisiana in here? Okay, good. That's a trash state. And so I didn't want to offend anybody in here, but I've been to Louisiana one time in my life. I don't plan really on going back. We went down to Thibodeau, and you're not missing much if you've never been to Thibodeau before. We went to play Nichols State in the FCS playoffs 2019, and we got our butts kicked. I think we lost by almost 20 points. And this picture up here is a picture that my mom snapped as we're walking off the field. I'm number 36 there. My buddy Graham is right behind me, and these three Nichols State coaches, they stop us as we're walking off the field. And the first one, kind of big guy on the far right there, I remember him had real big Southern accent. Hey, 36, love the way you play. Hey, best of luck going forward. Hey, thanks, coach, appreciate it. Next guy in the red hat, I'll never forget it. He said, hey, 36, you had a heck of a career. I remember saying, oh, thank you. Kept walking. I remember the guy in the real shiny head in the back, I remember him kind of catching me from behind in real high voice. Hey, 36, hey, you're a heck of a player. As I'm walking off the field, that moment, literally, right here, this moment, talking with that second coach in the red hat, just kept replaying over and over in my head because he said, hey, 36, you had a heck of a career. I remember thinking as I'm walking off the field, heck of a career, man, I'm a junior. You know, next year I'm going to come back down and tip it. I'm going to whoop y'all's mother. Don't tell me great career. I'm not done yet. And in the locker room after that game, talk about the moments you remember most. That moment is the clearest memory I have from my college experience. And it's me and my best friend, Noah Wanzik, and he's bawling in my shoulder as we hug. And all the narratives of college football go out the window in that moment because you're more than just teammates. I think there's something stronger, a bond that gets formed in that moment. Because it was his last game, and we weren't going to get to do that anymore. And in the locker room in Thibodeau, Louisiana, as my eyes were closed to try and quench the tears running down, I thought for the first time, is this it? Feels like something's coming to an end right now. Little did I know, that moment right there that my mom captured on camera, that was the last time that I stepped foot on a football field. A week after we get back from Thibodeau, our season's over. We're going into winter break. I get a call from Noah, and he said, hey, for my graduation gift, he was graduating that December. For my graduation gift, my dad has got me a ski trip to Colorado that he's going to take care of. He said I could bring one buddy along, and we've gone skiing in the past. Would you like to go? Absolutely. I grew up going to Red Lodge and Bridger and Big Sky and Terry Peak, and so I love to ski, but I'd never skied Colorado. So, hey, you want to go to Keystone, Colorado, and my dad will pay for it? Absolutely. I'm a broke college kid. Send me to Colorado. And so we went to Keystone, Colorado. Raise your hands. How many people in here have been to Keystone before? A couple. Yeah, perfect. Yeah, just an hour west of Denver. Easy to get to, fly into Denver and a short drive over. And so we went to Keystone. I'll never forget it. We got in December 26th of 2019. Got into the resort. I remember we got up into the room. Noah slapped me on the back, gave me a little smile. He said, hey, you can have the couch. I'll take the bed. Don't worry about it. Walked into the room. I wish I would have taken a picture of the couch, a little 5-foot futon. I mean, it was tiny. And I didn't sleep one bit that night, toss and turn. And remember, I still thought I had one more year left. And so I went down. I got up at about 5 a.m., went down, got a lift in at the resort gym. So I got a lift in. It was about 6:15 when I wrapped up with that. I remember I stepped outside to go sit in the hot tub, and it was like 20 degrees out. It was a little too cold. And so I went back. I was going to walk up to the room, and out of the corner of my eye, I see steam room. And this resort had a steam room. I remember thinking, we don't have those in Wishick. So I'm going to try this thing out. First time ever being in a steam room. Went in there, turned it on 15 minutes, started filling up with steam. I was like, all right, this is kind of cool. And after about 5 minutes of sitting in there, the door opened, and an older gentleman came in. He had a towel on. I'm going to let you guys figure out what happened next. I've never been in a steam room since, though. So I got out of the steam room pretty quick, and yeah, it's been scarred into my memory, but went up to the room, and boys were still waking up, so I decided got changed quick. I went down to the lobby to get some coffee, and on my way down to the lobby, I gave my mom a call because it was always a rule in our family that we had to call one of our parents on a trip if we're traveling without them. Maybe you have something similar in your family. Just had to call and check in. And so I called my mom. Hey, Mom, I'm just calling to check in with you. Travel was good yesterday. Oh, thank you, Hunter. Oh, how was the resort? Yeah, it's beautiful. It's great. Don't go in the steam room. But so we're talking about the day, and I said, all right, Mom, I'm gonna get some coffee here and wait for the boys. And she said, all right, well, have fun and just that's right, just be careful, be safe. And I said probably exactly what your kids say back to you. I will. All right, yep, love you. Click. Got my camera on the top of my ski helmet all figured out. Went and got my ski lift ticket, hopped on the gondola. Boys had made their way down and headed up the mountain. If you've skied Keystone, you have skied this run. It's called Keystone. It's called Mozart. Mozart is really the first run that you ski at Keystone to kind of work yourself back into the mountain. Right? You got to go down Mozart to get to the next lift, kind of work yourself into the backcountry. We're going into the backcountry to do backcountry skiing through the trees, find the fresh powder. That first run, Mozart, I remember we stopped at the top, took some pictures. It was a blue run. For those that are unfamiliar, you got green runs, blue runs, and black runs. Green being the easiest, black being the hardest, blue's just right in the middle. Mozart was situated a little bit like I-94, I-29. You had the left side, you had the right side, and in the median, in the middle, that's where the trees were, splitting this run right down the middle. I remember I started off on the right side of that run called Mozart, and I'm a flatlander from North Dakota, so it took me a few seconds to get my feet underneath me, but I was feeling pretty good. 10 seconds in, I remember thinking to myself, in my head, I remember thinking, man, Hunter, you got your mojo back. I started skiing backwards a little bit, still got it. And halfway down the run, as I'm in and out of cuts, and I'm zooming down the mountain, I realize that I'm flying. And I'm leaving all the ski party, the people that I'm there on the trip with, in my dust. And so I stopped. And I waited for about 30 seconds. Waited for everybody to catch back up. Noah, his parents, his cousin. And after they caught back up and I started to head down the mountain again, I can still see it now out of the corner of my eye. I see a chute taking me from the right side of that run through the trees over to the left side of that run. And I remember thinking to myself in my head, man, I got to take that chute. Because I love skiing in the trees. Peaceful, quiet, fresh snow, big moguls, evergreens stretching up to the heavens. Man, I got to take that chute. And so I dove in. Faster. I still feel the wind whipping against my face. Think about a chute. You can't go left, can't go right. You got to take it straight on. As I'm approaching the end of that chute, speed has risen to a high speed. I notice a small jump taking me out of the trees out to the clearing of the left side of that run. And as I'm approaching that jump, just moments before I came to it, the words that my mom had said just a couple hours prior came back to me in that split second. It was like, you know what, Hunter, just be careful, right? Just be safe. First run of the day, you don't got to get big air. There's plenty of time for that. Just be safe. And then on the other shoulder, the 22-year-old is talking to you, and it says, man, hit that jump. And the 22-year-old won out that day. My skis lifted off the ground, and And at that moment, that's when I saw the other skier. 5 seconds. That's how long it took. Remember, my skis came off the ground, and other skier came into my view, coming directly into my line. And really one word came into my head at that time. And it was the word move. I remember thinking to myself, Hunter, you got to move. You're going to collide with him. Well, there's nothing I can do. I'm up in the air, right? My direction's already been set. And so, as I'm flying through the air, that word just keeps going over and over and over. Move, 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 move. Eventually, skis hit the ground, immediately trying to turn away, avoiding the contact. And I remember that word just grows in intensity. Move, move, move. And finally, he's right there. I remember I stuck out my hand, almost trying to stiff arm him away, trying to push him away from the contact. He's trying to turn away from me. I'm trying to turn away from him. He's going away from the trees. I'm going back into the trees. I remember yelling at him, move! And we couldn't move fast enough. Collided, lost my balance, head first slide. This time I wasn't sliding head first into home plate. This time I'm sliding head first right into a tree. Thankfully, that helmet that my dad made me buy and wear when I was 16 years old, it was on. There's a big old dent in the back right of it to prove that it saved my life that day. Got knocked out for a few seconds. Came to. I remember the first thing that I thought was a thought that I've had many, many times before. I remember I moved my shoulders around a little bit, and I was like, whew, man, I'm sore. Right? I've had that a few times. And then the next thought I had was one that every single person in here has had before. It's the thought of, okay, I've fallen down, now it's time to what? Just get back up, right? You fall down, stand up. Your mind just tells your body, okay, get up. And I remember I pushed to get up, like I have thousands of times before, and nothing happened. It was like I was pinned to the ground. And my next thought was, shoot, I ran the tree over. It's the only other possibility, right? That 100-foot evergreen tree, I took that thing down. It's now laying across my legs. That's what I thought. That could be the only explanation, because you would never think, nah, that doesn't happen. And so I remember I turned and looked, expecting to see a tree or something laying across my legs, pinning me down, and there was no tree. My legs were back there, but they weren't moving. And again, that word that was just getting recycled over and over and over. It came back yet again, except this time it wasn't directed at the other skier. This time it was directed at my legs. Come on, legs. Move. And nothing happened. And that's the first time where I thought, I think I might be paralyzed. That's a scary thought. Other skier was off to my left. Remember, he had turned away from the trees that I'd turned back into him, and he came over. I remember him saying, hey man, I'm sorry, I didn't see you. He said, are you all right? I said, no, I don't think I am. And maybe it was the scariest moment of my life. I remember asking him, voice trembling, do you believe in a God? He said, yeah, I do, as he got down on one knee. And as the first tears started to come down my face, I remember I told him, I think we should pray. And we prayed up on the mountain that day. Can't tell you what I prayed for. Got a little fuzzy for me. But I knew I was scared and I needed some help. I'm not here to tell you what to believe in, who to believe in, how to do it. That is your choice. But I can tell you what I did on the mountain that day, and I prayed. And I can honestly tell you, sitting here today, fully paralyzed, from the chest down. That I have not had a day since December 27th of 2019 where fear or anxiety have ever overtaken me. They've come, they've knocked on the door, but they've never overtaken me. I've had a peace about my life, who I am, where I'm going, the purpose behind it. I've had a peace about my life that just flooded over me. I don't know how that's possible without help from something. So you take that however you want, but I think there's some power in it. Now, I'm telling you, there's a peace about my life. Other skier he called Ski Patrol. Ski Patrol came down, and I started flirting with her immediately. Blonde hair, blue-eyed. Her name was Bridget. There's just no other way around. She was fine. She was fine. I remember she started poking my leg, and remember I'm laying completely flat. She pokes my leg, and she said, "Hunter, can you feel that?" And this is actually embarrassing to say now. But I remember kind of looking down at her and saying, "Mm-hmm." She said, "What'd you say?" I said, "Yeah, I can feel that." She goes, "Can you?" And I said, "No, but yes." 22-year-old Hunter. Not great flirter, but I was trying. And I remember she said, "Hunter, I need you to remember something for me." And I said, "I'll remember anything for you." And she said, "Concussion protocol, you need to remember this sentence. 5 red monkeys jumping on the bed." Well, here I am. 6.5 years later, I never forgot. 5 red monkeys jumping on the bed. Went head first into a tree, did not have a concussion. That's a miracle. Head first into a tree, did not break my neck. But what I did is I shattered the middle of my back. I had no feeling really below my nipple line. Bridget, she got me down the mountain, got me neck brace and on the stretcher. Stretcher got onto a helicopter, airlifted me off the mountain. Went to Frisco, Colorado, had all my imaging done, then ambulanced in to the Denver Metro where I had an 8-hour surgery to repair my back. I still remember coming out of surgery, and there's a lot of unknown in that moment. I remember someone was holding on to my hand, and I could hear crying. I recognized it was my mom and dad, and I'll never forget, my mom, my eyes were still closed, and I heard her come right down to my ear. And she said, "Hunter, it's going to be okay. You still have a life. It's just not the life you planned." And there was strength in her words that day. And as a parent, I hope you're never in that situation, but I can speak from the child's perspective that her strength gave me strength that day. I didn't know what was ahead, but I knew that I still had a life. Doc walks in after a couple hours, and remember, he said, "Hunter, we got good news and bad news. Which one you want first?" I remember thinking to myself, man, I want the good news, right? Because I knew what I wanted. I knew what I wanted to hear. And the good news I was hoping to hear was, man, this is a stinger. I got one more year of football, 2 weeks. I'm back playing spring ball, right? I got to go beat the Bison, right? I'm 0-2. That was what I was thinking I wanted the good news to be. And so I remember he walked in and he said, "You want the good news or the bad news?" And I said, "Doc, give me the good news." And he said, "Well, son, you're still alive." I could tell. Yep, all right. "You're going to graduate from college." Okay, all right. Wasn't worried about it, but okay. He kind of paused. He said, "You can still have a family." And I remember thinking to myself, I don't even got a girlfriend. Like, let's get to the elephant in the room here. When am I walking out of here? And I remember I asked him, "When will I be walking?" And he walked a couple steps closer to me, and he looked me dead in the eye. He said, "Hunter, you got a 2% chance to get some feeling back in your legs. Not function, just feeling." And it was pretty quiet, just like this. And after a few moments, that peace that I was talking about, it washed over me yet again, and I had a thought, and I started smiling and smirking, and he thought I was about to go hysterical. He took a couple steps in, the doc did, and he said, Hunter, it's going to be okay. I said, no, doc, I don't think you understand. So you're saying there's a chance. Shout out to Jim Carrey. Yeah, thank you, Jim Carrey, for that one. And thankfully, he was a movie guy. He had seen that movie before, and he stopped, he smiled, he said, I guess I am. He patted me on the shoulder, and I tell you that because, man, 2%, I was expecting that he was going to come in and say, Hunter, you got 2 weeks, right? 2 weeks of rehab, you'll be back home. And he hit me with, man, you're probably never going to walk again. And really, it was a somber moment. And in that moment, I really feel the peace came and washed over me. And suddenly it hit me. It's like, man, 2% is a lot better than 0. Now, I'm from Wishick. I played Division I football. I can handle 2%. I've been battling 2% for a long time. And as I'm sitting there and I'm thinking about this, I remember thinking to myself, like, man, I know where I'm going. Like, I can't tell you sitting here, even today, I can't tell you that someday I'm going to get to 2%. I can't promise you that someday in this life I'm going to stand up out of this wheelchair, I'm going to walk out, and you guys are going to see on social media, you remember that Hunter Pinky guy? He stood up. I don't know if that's going to happen. Maybe someday it will. Man, what a cool ending that would be. But I don't need that to happen for my life to be fulfilled. Like, I know on the way to 2%, a lot of good is going to happen on the way to 2%. Like, there's a lot of joy to be found in my journey yet. My destination, it has been set. I'm going to 2%. If I get there or not, that's not the point. The point is that I'm on the road. I don't know what your 2% is, but man, at least I know where I'm going. First 3 days, laid flat on my back. I got a 16-inch scar on my back. It's a pretty good looking one. Had to let that sucker heal. My dad fed me oatmeal. It was the only thing I could get down my throat. I tore every single muscle in both my shoulders, every single one of them. If I wasn't a 22-year-old, athletic football player, they probably would have had double shoulder surgery, but they just decided to let them heal. Day 4, I got to sit up for the first time. Lasted 14 seconds. Passed out. Day 5, I lasted minutes, though. Day 6, got in a wheelchair for the first time. Day 7, did my first time trial. Time trial being the time it took me from my room to the end of the hallway, back to my room again. We timed it. Day 8, I beat my day 7 time. Day 9, I beat my day 8 time. The competitive spirit never left. We did post-game interviews, everything. How do you think the race went, Hunter? I was a little slow on the turn. Day 10, I got to go to a place called Craig Hospital. Anybody familiar with Craig Hospital in here? Top 10 rehab facility in the world. 15 minutes down the road. How lucky am I? Specializes in traumatic brain injuries as well as spinal cord injuries. And I got to go to Craig, and really at Craig, they teach you how to live again. Because you got to learn how to do everything over. Everything changes, right? Number 1, how to do a wheelie, right? Wheelchair class, it's important. How to do it with one hand. Not one clap. That's crazy. That's all right. No, that's all right. I want to see you guys try and do this. No, don't worry about it. How about this? This make you, anybody? No? This makes you a little nervous. That's all right. Just pick me up if I fall. You're good. No. All right. Right, how to maneuver a wheelchair. Obviously, it's important. And I don't just do that for show. What happens when you're a small little town and there's no curb cutouts, right? And you want to get up on the sidewalk. You got to pop the curb. So pop a wheelie and get a little momentum and hit the curb. What about going over railroad tracks? And you don't want to get your caster wheel stuck in a railroad track. What if it does happen? Well, you got to pop a wheelie, get it out. There are functionality things of popping a wheelie. But in addition to that, how to get into bed, transferring, how to get onto the sofa. You don't want to just sit in your chair all day. How to, drive. I drove an F-150 here today. At Craig, they teach you how to use hand controls and how to drive. They also tell you 90% of people in wheelchairs drive minivans, and for good reason, right? You can have a ramp come on out, and you can drive right onto the ramp, up into the van, transfer over. It's by far the most functional vehicle. I said 90%. I said, I am the 10%. I am not driving no minivan, not yet. Not yet. I got 0 kids, Find me a way to drive my pickup. So, man, how to drive, it's a big deal. How to cook, in the kitchen. Can't reach stuff. How to get stuff from higher spots. Little things that you have to rethink in the kitchen too. Like coffee drinkers in here, you're having your morning cup of coffee, you set it on your lap, you're turning to look in the paper, oh, NDSU is going to the Mountain West. Can you believe that? It's about time that they went up there, right? And you're talking with your wife, and you get into a little conversation, and you go and take another sip of coffee, and little did you know that you have a big burn mark now on your leg because you couldn't feel how hot the coffee cup was. Little things that you just don't think about that you have to kind of rewire your brain into thinking. Going to the bathroom, right? Showering, bathing yourself, all that is different. I tore both my shoulders and so I had to have help doing everything because I couldn't transfer, I couldn't really push my chair even, and so I had to have somebody help me shower for the first really month. Had to have a nurse help me, and that would have been all right if it was Bridget, but yeah, his name was Artie, so that was an experience. Artie was from Ukraine, big old bald head, just massively ripped arms, and I remember the first time I met Artie, he came in, he said, "Hunter, very good to meet you." And he said, "I'm going to take very good care of you." I said, "Don't take too good a care of me, Artie. Bare minimum, Artie." But man, like, you really do. You have to learn how to do everything. And Craig, they physically taught me that you didn't just have to be alive, and you just didn't have to survive. You actually got to live. There's a big difference. You don't just have to survive through your struggle, you can live through it. And you can do that physically. But most of that happens up top. The mental struggle in any type of trauma. I'm not just talking spinal cord injury, I'm talking just any type. The mental side is the hardest. Yeah, I can do anything I used to be able to do physically. I just do it a little bit differently now. But mentally, there's some roadblocks. You go from 6'6" Division I football player to 4'9", never going to walk again in 5 seconds. That's hard. I remember they would tell me all the time, "Hunter, you're going to have good days," right? Trying to encourage you. You're going to have good days. You can go back to the farm. There's lifts that'll get you up into the tractor. You're going to graduate from college. You can still have a family, all these things. We're also going to have some bad days. That line, it's not moving. There is no cure for paraplegia. Not yet, at least. And that's everything below the line. That includes your bladder. Hunter, you can't fill your bladder. You're going to piss your pants in public. I said, "Nah, doc, that ain't me. Not going to happen." 20 times in the first month. And I can smile about it now because you learn your body and you get into routines. That's not very fun, though. Invols. That was short for involuntary bowel movements. Hunter, you're going to have invols. Nah, doc, you don't know us North Dakota boys. We don't do that. 7 of them in the first month. And again, thankfully, the body adjusts, and it's an amazing thing, but man, that's what 2-year-olds do, not 22-year-olds. Good days, bad days. Good days, bad days. Finally, I was in the book, and I was reading one day, and I was reading out of Job, actually, and I remember thinking to myself, you know what? I'm kind of just tired of people telling me how my day is going to end up. I had so many people in my ear telling me this is how it's going to be, that. I remember thinking, that's not your decision. And finally, one day, the next morning, my nurse, Lori, bless her heart, she was a great woman. She came in, and her thing she said every morning to me was, "Good morning, Hunter. You going to make today a good day or is it going to be a bad day?" And she came in and said that to me, and I said, "Lori, I'm not going to have another bad day the rest of my life." And she stopped, she looked at me, and she goes, "What a good attitude." And then she said, "And how are you going to do that?" And to be completely honest, when I said that day at Craig Hospital, I really didn't know what I was saying. I just knew that every day going forward was a day that could have been taken away from me, so I'm just going to live with a grateful heart. That's really where it started. But as I've lived the past 6+ years, I think I've actually figured out what I said that day. And I think it was probably truer than I even realized. If you want to take one thing from today, one thing, I would take this. I think there's a difference between bad days and tough days. A bad day would imply that my circumstances, man, you can see them. What I'm going through, what I'm feeling, that gets to dictate my joy in life, and that's just flat out not true. My circumstances do not dictate my joy. My joy is determined when I wake up in the morning. Because you know who didn't? My buddy Zach. How about you? And I get it. Man, you're sitting here today and you're saying, okay, this kid from North Dakota, number one, he's never been on my farm, never been to even my town, and he's going to come and tell me that I'm not going to have any more bad days. That's BS. I got you. You're right. For many of you, I've never been on your farm, never been to your place of business. I don't know your family. But hear me out, I think we can still relate. My class had 18. How many did yours have? I'm a proud member of the FFA. How many else? Right? A lot of you raise pigs. We raise barley. So I think we can relate on some things. I think we can relate on truth. True is true. Yesterday, today, tomorrow. This is true for me and you. I got air in my lungs. Doc said it when he walked into the room that day. Well, son, you're still alive. That's true for you. That's true for me too. It's not true for somebody in your head right now, though. If that's true, well, then this is true too. I live in the United States of America. I got a choice. Y'all decided to come here today. You could have skipped. Decided to sit in this table right here. You could have sat in that one. Decided to wear your vest. Could have wore your quarter zip. Choice, 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 choice. Life is just the accumulation of the choices that you have. You might not have a choice on what happens to you. You do have a choice on how you respond, though. Make no mistake about it. I say respond, not react. Respond. When something happens, this is how I respond. It's premeditated upon. It's decided days, weeks, months in advance. When this happens, when adversity hits, this is how I respond. I don't know how you respond. My response is the same. Whether it's 4th down and 1 or sitting in a wheelchair, it's the same. Compose myself, get my confidence back, attack it with a competitive edge. 3 C's, pretty simple to remember. Chin up, get back after it. Respond. That's my choice. That's true for me every single day. Last thing that's true for me every single day, I don't know if it's true for you, you tell me, but I'm loved. This is the motivational part of it. Not really, it's just true. I actually don't know if there's any industry in the world where this is more true. Like, I want you to think, when adversity struck your family, when adversity struck your farm, I want you to think of that third point. Because I'll tell you what happened to me when adversity struck me. I was at Craig Hospital for 60 days of inpatient rehab, 2 months. I received 2,087 cards in the mail. That's an average of about 30 to 35 a day. I got cards from 46 states. 46. And I didn't have time to go back through them and reread all of them. I have read all of them, but I did go through a few. As I was coming up to this event today, and there was 2 of them from Mankato. And I found 1 from Wilmer and 2 from Owatonna. And if you don't feel loved, that's on you. Open your eyes. It's the best thing about this industry. What we get to do, really, really fun. Who we get to do it with, that's the special part. These 3 things, they're true for me every single day. And man, I can have a really tough day. A lot can go wrong in my day. But these 3 things change it from being a bad day to a tough day. I can handle tough. I've been through tough before. It's not going to be bad, though. It's not going to be bad. A lot of tough days. Not one bad one. 2103, I think. I think it's 2103. That's my streak. No bad days. It's not just a slogan. I've literally lived it. I think you can start your own too. Now I want to close with a story, and we'll get you guys on your way. But I had awesome nurses. Lori was one of my nurses, and I had really kind of 2 sets of nurses. I had the first half of the week, you had the back half of the week. And my other morning nurse and the other team of nurses, her name was Jennifer. And Jennifer, she was, I really think if you really break it down from a big scale, there's really 2 types of people in the world, energy givers and energy takers. Right? You're either giving something to your team, giving something to your family, giving something to your farm, or you're taking away from it. You can probably look at your farm and know who those people are, right? And Jennifer, there was no doubt about it, she was an energy giver. She would come in to my room at 7 a.m. every single morning, and she'd say the same thing. Good morning, Hunter. What are we having for breakfast today? And it's like, shut the up, No, not right now. I am a sleepy guy. Do not disturb. Give me like 15 minutes to wake up. And she just brought it. She literally, it was infectious, her energy. And finally, I had watched this video over the weekend, and Inky Johnson had talked about flipping the switch in your life. Sometimes you need to flip the switch, make a decision, be disciplined in it, and watch it change your life. And I remember thinking about Jennifer when I was watching that video and thinking, I got to flip the switch. And so she walked in, and I hadn't seen her for probably 5 days because the weekend and then the other shift of nurses. And so she walks in, and she says what she always says. She said, good morning, Hunter. And that's when she kind of paused because I had flipped the switch. I had already gotten out of bed. I was dressed. I had music playing. And this story always goes better when I have somebody tell the story with me. And so I've been looking at you this whole time, and you should not have sat in the front row. Because now you're going to have to help me tell this story. Come on up here. What's your name?
Michael.
Michael, come on up here, Mike. That's good. I didn't have to come down and chase him. That's good. Last time I had to ask somebody, I had to chase him up here. No, I'm just kidding. But Mike, hey, good to meet you.
Pleasure to meet you.
Hunter, yeah. You had a heck of an accent.
Thank you.
That's good. All right. Well, Mike, you're now Jennifer, so go stand by the stairs over there. All right. So, Mike, you got a real simple task. All right. You got one line. The line is, good morning, Hunter. What are we having for breakfast today? Go ahead and just practice the line.
Good morning, Hunter. What do you have for breakfast this morning?
Yikes. Okay. Yeah, that's pretty good, Mike. That's pretty good. Now, the voice inflection was impressive. Now, the energy, I'm going to give it about a 5. Raise it up to give me like a 7. Okay, so I'm going to have you walk in a little bit high energy and deliver that line. And scene.
Good morning, Hunter. What do you have for breakfast this morning?
That's almost too good, Mike. Yeah, that's really good. Very, very good. Now, here's the thing. Here's the thing I didn't tell Mike. See, Jennifer, She was from South Georgia, Mike, Valdosta area, and she had this thing called swag. Now, Mike might struggle with that, but see, 92% of all communication, Mike, is what? Do you know?
Body language and tone of voice.
That's right. Yeah, body language and nonverbal. A huge. I can tell a story like this, but if I'm looking at you like this, we're gonna have issues. It tells the story, and so Jennifer's walk was unique, and the best way I can describe Jennifer's walk, Mike, is she knew how to use what her mama gave her. You know what I'm saying? I mean, her hips, whoop, 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 whoop. I would try and show you if I could, Mike, but I can't do it, right? So to tell this story right, Mike, the walk has to do it. And here's the thing, Mike, you can say, I can't do that, I can't. Well, then you're letting down the people because it's 90% of the story, Mike. So for one time, Mike, loosen up, big fella. So one time, all right, I just need you to show the people the walk so that they can understand the story correctly, all right? So you're going to open that door, you're going to walk, and here's the thing about the walk, it was slow. I mean, she walked with a little bit of tempo. All right, and you remember the line? Good morning, Hunter, what are we having for breakfast? That's the line. And scene. Open that door, good. Yeah, that's it. Golly, yeah, walk it out, Mike. Walk it out. That's good.
Good morning, Hunter. What do we have for breakfast?
That's exactly what it was like. Yeah, that's exactly it. Now stay right there, Mike. Stay right there. That's good. Fantastic. Now, so she does that, Mike. Stay up here, Mike. Yeah, you're not done yet. She does that, and that's when she hears the music. See, I had music playing. I had flipped the switch, right? And she goes, Hunter, this is my song. And I said, I know, Lori told me. She goes, no, you don't know. This is my song. I said, okay. She goes, I was in a car accident, left me in a coma for over a month. And she said, the good Lord decided to wake me up. I said, that's amazing. She goes, no, that's not the amazing part. What's amazing is how I changed after. I said, all right, let's hear it. She said, you know, Hunter, before my accident, I look at my life, and some days, my glass was about half full. I call it a pretty good day. And other days, I look at my life, and my glass was half empty. Nothing was going my way. I call it a bad day. She said, baby, I don't really look at life like that anymore. I'm just glad I got a glass. And I sat there that day, Mike, and I had one of those moments where you kind of take a step back and you realize, like, wow, I think my life just changed. Because I'd never looked at my life in that way before. That's a true story that Jennifer shared that wisdom with me that day. She wasn't from Georgia. I just want to see Mike walk like that. But, hey, give it up for Mike. It's good stuff. Thanks, Mike. Appreciate it. Good stuff, man. Those hips don't lie, Mike. You're right. Golly. I want to close with this. I want to just talk briefly on the glass because I want to share with you what Jennifer shared with me. And I think it's very easy to look at our lives, look at our businesses, look at the state of our industry, and you look at it and all you see is the water, right? I really want you to think about your personal life right now. And a lot of you might be sitting right here. It's pretty good. I mean, it's not perfect, but it's pretty good. You're going to go home this weekend, and then next month you're going to get a call that, man, you probably knew it was coming, but you're never ready for it. Because he was your best friend. Taught you everything you knew. And it's time for him to go home. That's going to take a little bit out of you. And while you're dealing with that loss, your wife went in for just the yearly mammogram. She's been doing that for how long? And that's where they found the lump. Partner for what, 30 plus years? and now cancer has entered your family. That takes a little bit more out of you. And you've raised how many kids? 3, 4? The youngest one, beautiful soul, but man, he's dealt with addiction from the time he was 13 years old, right? You thought he was over it. And then 1 a.m., sheriff department called. How many times you bailed him out? And when you're at your last rope, that's when the fire happens. And you look at your life, and you feel pretty empty. And I'm willing to bet somebody in here is probably right here, right now. And if you haven't been here, it's coming. Because this happens at some point in life. I've been here. Now, what's the point of going on? How am I going to recover from this? Right? I'm here to say, man, you've been searching for an answer, asking God to send you a sign to keep on going. Well, knock, knock, here's your sign. Man, broken glasses don't hold water, but this one still works. So if you're here, man, hold on. Then there's probably a lot of us. I say us because I feel like I'm part of that group. Man, we look at our lives. You guys are going to drive home today in your paid-off vehicle. You're going to go to your home, in which does not have a mortgage, right? You got grandkids coming this weekend. Wife, 50 years. Unbelievable. And you look at your life, and it's like, golly, I'm a blessed man. I'm a blessed woman. And I don't think I need to hammer this one home too much, because I think we get it in the ag industry. But there's somebody in your circle, somebody probably within 10 or 15 feet of you right now, that, man, they've thrown on the mask at the Pork Congress here. They've thrown it on. How you doing, Joe? I'm great. Life's good, man. How's your wife? She's great. But you got papers last week, didn't you? You've thrown on the mask, and everything's good, but you're sitting there empty, wondering if this thing even works anymore. There's a lot of red on your spreadsheet because the margins just don't add up. I'm putting together the same spreadsheet. And the only way that this thing doesn't fall to the ground is if one drop proves that it still works. I don't know what that looks like for you. I don't know who in your life is right here. You probably don't even know either. But man, all it takes is 5 seconds of courage, getting out of your comfort zone, one drop. And you know what? Maybe this thing still does work. Maybe I can go on one more day. Maybe a miracle is waiting around the corner for me. And drop by drop by drop, day by day, week by week, over time, broken glasses, man, they get filled up. And it all started with somebody having the courage to step out of their comfort zone and do something a little bit different. It's a real problem in the ag industry. We are tough people. A lot of times, it's not even the giving part that's the issue. It's allowing yourself, taking the cap off your bottle, allow somebody else to pour into you too. And then we think, man, I just didn't see it coming. I guess my question, as we leave this place today and we enjoy evenings with friends and family, coworkers, my question for you is, who are you pouring into? Because I think at the end, at the very end, not just the end of this conference, not just the end of this year, I'm talking about the very end. When you're laying there on the bed and you're thinking about what you got to do, how you lived, I doubt you're going to remember what you talked about at the Port Congress in 2026. I doubt you're going to remember the exact number on that spreadsheet that's causing the anxiety to run through the roof. Important things, no doubt, but not nearly as important as the person that's sitting next to the bed. Not nearly as important as the people that shuffle through. That you were the difference in their drop. You were the difference that allowed them to keep going. I don't know if that's true or not, but I'm banking my life on it. Who are you pouring into and what are you pouring into? And I think that's how you'll be defined. Not just in your industry, but in your family, in your life. Drop by drop. I didn't want to be done. I remember thinking to myself, I can't catch any more touchdowns. What's next? Well, can't catch touchdowns, but I still got a pretty good little jumper. So I started looking. University of Arizona had a wheelchair basketball team. Decided I was going to go and try out. Called the coach up. I said, hey, I'll walk on. I don't need any money. Just give me a chance. I didn't get into a game my first year. Did not get into a game. Second year, I came off the bench. I was the seventh man off the bench. Went to the national championship game. Awesome season. Third year, after a lot of baskets that summer, got to start. Became an academic All-American. And that dream that I had back when I was 10 years old of being on that mural next to my grandpa, well, it wasn't at the University of North Dakota, but I did get up at the University of Arizona. So dreams do come true, maybe even a little differently than you thought. And then I did something that not many people do. I moved from Arizona back to North Dakota. And I decided that the who in my life were very important. I got two sisters, one of which is playing in her senior night basketball game tonight. I wanted to be in the stands more than I wanted to watch on a screen, and so I moved back to North Dakota to be a little bit closer to my family and get to watch my sisters finish up. Get to family farm. We grow corn, soybean, barley, canola with my grandpa. That picture of the combine and the grain cart, I get to run the grain cart. You know he's not giving up that combine spot anytime soon. So I run the grain cart for him. I get to help my parents out in our family business and build residential homes, and then I get to do this and share my story. Pretty cool little life that I've got to build here. Man, as we go from this place, I hope you're not motivated. I hope I didn't motivate you today. I hope you can relate something to your life. And I hope you really never have another bad day. I've done it. It's changed my life. You're still here. You have a choice. You're loved. Is that enough for you? You got to answer that. It is for me. And whatever comes my way, man, I can go through a lot of tough days. There's a good day around the corner. I know it. And eventually start stacking good days on top of each other. Turn around. Those good days turn into a great life. You got to get through some tough ones first. You've done that before, you can do it again. No more bad ones. As you go back to your hotel room tonight, you go back to your home, man, truthfully answer the question, who are you pouring into? Look yourself in the mirror. That drop just might be the difference in somebody's forever. That's powerful. That's powerful impact. And it's just sitting within you. Drop by drop. I appreciate the opportunity. I'll be around. Would love to associate with any of you guys. Take care. Have a great rest of your conference. Take care, guys.